Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video. I'm myself, Jonathan N.S. Pierce. This is a Ukraine war breaking news update late at night on the 22nd, just about to be the 23rd of August 2024. This is something I was going to report earlier, but I was actually doing an interview. I was being interviewed by Silicon Curtain, Jonathan Fink, with Mesa Gifford and Sean Pinner. Absolutely fantastic interview, should be out tomorrow on Silicon Curtain. So this was happening at the time. I did reference it because I think this is what we're seeing is a systematic game of whack-a-mole that the Ukrainians are playing with the Russians, whereby they're attacking in Kursk to wrest back initiative and all of that's going on there, whilst they're suffering a little bit in the Eastern Front, but they're trying to get back that initiative to get the Russians to change their approach, to think twice about what they are doing and to stop Ukraine being able to react, always having to react to the Russians. They're getting the Russians to react to the Ukrainians. That's the wresting back of the initiative. All the while, they're doing many things around Russia and the occupied territories. So we've seen Murmansk be targeted 4 days in a row with drones. That is an airbase and facilities near Finland. We've seen Moscow targeted. We've seen an airbase struck 2 nights ago, was it, that caused massive detonations of ordnance and possibly aircraft as well. We've seen 3 or 4 air bases struck in the last week where they've been not just going for the aircraft. In fact, it appears that they've been going predominantly for lubricants and fuel depots and ordnance at those, and aircraft infrastructure, airbase infrastructure at those air bases. So this is trying to stop the Russians from being able to use their aircraft, all the while striking other targets like we've seen Novorossiysk on fire last night. Don't know if that's a Ukrainian strike, but we've seen the oil depot at Rostov burning for 5 days. Massive issue there. And now we have heard that a ferry that was previously damaged, and we thought that all the ferries had stopped working between over the Kerch Strait between mainland Russia and Crimea. But actually one, the Conroe trader, has still been active, and that has been struck supposedly by a Neptune missile from Odessa. Now, as Nexus says, breaking smoke was spotted on the Taman Peninsula in the area of the port of Kavkaz. It is likely the port was attacked. Well, actually, it wasn't a port. So it was the flames were burning of this Conroe trader railroad ferry. It's next, it says here, tanks of Akva trade, but I don't think it was. I think it's the other one, has been attacked in the port of Kavkaz in the Kerch Strait, according to Kuban's operative headquarters. You can see an explosion there of the railroad ferry. Really serious explosions and lots of fire. It has been geolocated to here. That's the Kerch Strait, obviously, in the port area between the two. As I mentioned, lots of footage coming from all different angles and from different distances. Heavy fire broke out in the Kavkaz port, located in the Chushka Spit on the Kerch Strait of Krasnodar Krai region of Russia, amid reports about Ukrainian strikes there this afternoon. According to the reports, Ukrainians hit a ferry loaded with fuel. Well, it wasn't just loaded with fuel, and my goodness, there's a lot of insane footage coming out. It had 30 railroad trucks on it, which is pretty significant. Kavkaz in Krasnodar Krai region in Russia. After, well, yeah, I guess technically in Russia, after that explosion, and there's that explosion again, and as I say, from all sorts of different angles, including very close up. Here we have right next to the ferry, Russian roll-on, roll-off ferry, Conroe traders ablaze in the port of Kavkaz after successful Ukrainian Navy Neptune cruise missile strike. The ferry was reported carrying 30 fuel tankers, actually. So incredible footage there. And it has, apparently sunk and the crew have perished. Bridge was closed for some time around the time of the attack. There's the POV of the attack, various stuff that you can look at online, and lots of incredibly large flames and smoke going off. Now, if you remember back in, when was this? May the 30th. Some more claims regarding a night missile attack in the Kerch area. In addition, quote, in addition to the pilot boat Mekta, which, as Astra already reported, sank, the ferry Conroe Trader and the ferry Avangard were damaged in Crimea during today's attack. The latter ran aground. So Avangard ran aground. thought that that's not serviceable, but who knows, they might try and get it back because there's no other option now that the Conroe trader, which was thought taken out, actually damaged and has obviously become operational again. Well, this is it here. So this is a big old ship, has, as you can see, all those railroad carriages full of fuel on there. That's what was hit today. 30 of those on board. You can imagine the explosion that caused, sadly, probably a lot of environmental damage as well, and that by a Ukrainian missile, Neptune. Now, this will mean, I think, pretty solidly that the Russians are going to struggle to get their anything really, their cargo, equipment, military equipment, whatever, by rail across the Kerch Strait, unless they use the Kerch Bridge. But of course, it's thought that they are unable to carry very heavy cargo across the railroad bridge because of the damage that was previously done, although we have seen some trains go across. But it means they'll be forced to do that, and that alone, or they have to use the longer route going through Zaporizhia, etc., etc. This is a very important strike for the Ukrainians, and it's another notch for them on I guess, their ledger. This is, as I said, part of a systematic approach to degrading Russia's capabilities in both military equipment, material, and logistics. We are seeing drones be used incredibly effectively, FPV drones, Baba Yaga drones, IED dropping drones. We are seeing HIMARS being used and ATACMS, and we have seen one-way attack drones be used into Russia. And now it could be that the Neptune missile is starting to put its foot in a door to the party. Neptune missile is thought to have been tinkered with, so it has a range of 1,000 kilometers. Been talking about it a lot, but it's also thought that maybe they can only produce, the production capacity is only 1 or 2 a month. It appears to have been used a number of times, though sporadically, and that would be explained by that lack of production capacity. I'm hoping that they can just work really hard to get more and more of those made, because they could do some serious damage with Neptune missiles. It does depend whether it's resistant to electronic warfare and whatnot. But in the absence of being able to strike targets with ATACMS, and you can talk about Kursk, if they sent this from Odessa all the way over to Crimea, then that is a decent bit of range, and it shows the capabilities of the missile here. So, you know, if you look at this map, Odessa's off the map to the left. Oh no, Odessa's up here, sorry. And that is no small distance. Very useful for the Ukrainians to be able to fire that at a target that far away. So I guess we'll have to see whether Ukraine will continue with these kinds of strikes over the next week, 2 weeks, month, 2 months. I was talking, as mentioned in this interview earlier, in this sort of panel discussion, Mesa Gifford saying, he was saying, I'm looking forward to 2025. I think that's the year you're going to start seeing Russia really, really struggle. Now, yeah, the Ukrainians are struggling in the east, but the Russians are really struggling in Kursk, who we have not yet seen the Russians build up a significant enough force to rebut the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians still having some amount of success up there, and that would indicate that the Russians are low on options. And the Ukrainians here providing dilemmas for them, not problems with solutions, but dilemmas with trying to achieve the least worst outcome. And I'm sounding bullish for the Ukrainians. It's just, we are seeing time and time again at the moment really significant targets being taken out by the Ukrainians, and this is not only going to harm the Russians in terms of material outcome, but it's going to be embarrassing It's going to be bad PR for the Kremlin and for Putin, and pressure will mount on Putin. The morale of the Russians might start biting here. You might start getting people saying, look, hang on, how come we're on the receiving end of a series of bloody noses? Aren't we the second greatest army? You've been telling us that everything's fine. Is everything not fine? What about some of my family members that are still missing? Are they actually dead? What are the real death tolls for the Russians? You might start getting some public discord and disharmony going on. So that would be the hope. So if we see more of these sorts of strikes over the next few weeks, then the pressure might really start mounting for the Russians. Anyway, let me know what you think. Am I being too positive? Thank you for watching, and thanks for your support. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.